Hello.
Hello. So today we're here talking about hats
Yes,
and how you end up making 9 hats because
I'm Elisa.
it's Christmas and you have 9 people on your child's car line, or you have 9 nieces and nephews.
You gotta knit the same thing for everybody because you don't want somebody to be mad that they didn't get a hat.
But also math.
And also, 9 of the
Math.
same thing.
Yeah, 9 of the same thing.
If
So
you
this
make them all in the same yarn, frequently they can't tell that you did something different with every one of them.
And this is for Top Your Hat.
Yep, Top Your Hat, which is a class I'm teaching at DFWFiberfest in September.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Very excited. Very
Yes.
excited about the whole thing.
The whole event.
You have been with us at every single Fiberfest.
Since the beginning.
Fiberfest turns 18 this year.
Stop it like it gets a diploma.
Like we're old enough to vote. And you've been there for
Everyone.
from the very beginning.
From the very
Yes,
beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yep.
And this year you have 9 hat tops in Top Your Hat? How many?
7, 8,
7,
9.
8?
I don't know, as many as I can come up with between now and then.
Right. So talk to me about these hats.
So most everybody who knits can knit in the round. It's a thing. And if you can't, we can fix that really fast at DFWFiberfest. And most people can say, I have 5 stitches to the inch and a 22-inch head. So how many stitches do I need? We can get that far. But I have so many people who tell me that they need to find a pattern for a hat. And I'm like, why do you need a pattern for a hat? It's a hat.
And they're holding this when they're telling you they need a
This
pattern.
is just plain old B-flat stockinette with a little rib at the bottom. Nothing super fancy. Why do you need a pattern? And it's not this part that baffles them. Sorry for the cat. It's not this part that baffles them. It's how do I shape the top? How do I close it up?
And different closures have
And different closures have different effects. So you can do things like just gather it, which of course, there, look, you can see. You can see it. You can just gather it in tiers and bring it to a top and close it off and
not
call
have a
it done.
nipple.
Yep.
I think it's a trick
Block
to not
it
have
out.
a nipple.
It's true. Little
I
tiny.
never knit a hat that had a nipple.
This one is the same thing. Same thing. Just in crazy wild colors.
Nice.
Isn't that fun? But they're the same hat. Or you can do things like a swirl. So this one is a swirl that goes up and this way. You can swirl them to the left, you can swirl them to the right. You can pick different frequencies of decrease. You can try different kinds of decreases to change the effect.
You might choose a different one because of the number of stitches.
Stitches or the type of stitch. Like if you were doing Fair Isle, which we're not doing Fair Isle in class, but you can totally do it with Fair Isle. And the kind of decrease you use changes the look of the top of the hat. And there's a reason why they call it the crowning glory, right? Because this is a plain old hat. But when you finish it off nicely, the top of the hat, frequently, when you see pictures of hats in a pattern, they usually show you the top.
The crown, yeah. They do.
Because it's the all.
Right.
It's cool.
Well, how many thousand pairs of Turn a Square have people bought?
Right.
And knit because of that.
Right.
That.
So, I mean, we've got swirls to the right, swirls to the left, teeny swirls, big swirls. We've got wedges. You can do it in wedges. See, look, it's like a star. Isn't it cute? And photographs are hard. And honestly, the reason why all of these samples are done in the same yarn is because somebody gave me a ginormous, like 1,400 yard ball of worsted weight yarn. And I needed to knit a bunch of hats. I needed to knit a whole bunch of hats.
Right.
And that's what started this whole project, because I am not good at doing the same thing 9 times.
But you don't have to.
But I don't have to. I can do different kinds of ribbing on the bottom. I can do different crown shapings, and I can make them interesting to me, and the people who wear the hats don't know any different.
And make them so they don't come apart from the from the not a nipple.
From the not a
Not
nipple.
have a nipple.
Yes,
not
and
have it
all
come apart.
of these, that's another thing we talk about, is how to get the top to not be a cone head or not have a nipple. Because anytime you bring something together in a knitted decrease, for some reason, most of the time, people get like the little pagoda on top.
Right. Pagoda. That's so
Pagoda.
much nicer way to say it, but it just looks
It looks like a nipple.
a little, yeah.
We've all seen the boob hat, right?
Right.
The boob hat.
The boob hat.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It was not a stretch.
It was, no.
So,
It's a really great class for a beginning knitter because you don't have to know any great tricks to do this class. If you can knit two together, you can come up with a different decrease pattern for any hat. You don't have to know how to SSK, you don't have to know how to do a double decrease and the difference between a central double decrease and a knit three together. And you don't have to know any of that. You can use it if you know it. You can certainly implement it in your design, but you don't have to.
and it does, and when you talk about that, you talk about how that decrease affects the one they've chosen to
Yeah.
do it
Oh,
in
yeah.
class.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
you need that information.
It's
and
a
maybe
design
you don't,
element.
but it is
I mean, a hat is a hat is a hat.
right
It's a thing that goes on your head.
to keep you warm in our 2 weeks of non-consecutive winter days.
Here in
Or
Texas.
For someone you love who lives someplace where they might need it more than
Yeah, like for my goddaughter in North Dakota. She
that.
needs
Oh,
a hat.
it is cold there.
It does, it gets cold there.
It
Even with
stays.
global warming, it gets cold there.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a really great next step for anyone who is a beginning knitter. This is a really great first step if you think you want to become a designer, because this gives you some tools about how hat shaping happens and how to figure out how to get from here to here. How to do it. And so, yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a fun little 3-hour class.
It's just
And it has all kinds of implications because you can do this same kind of decrease in the yoke. You can apply this into the yoke of your sweater. You can apply this in the bottom of a bag, a purse, this mittens, the top of the swirl of the mittens, or if you want to get fancy on the toes of your sock, all the same kind of idea.
anytime you're going from a big circumference to a
Nothing.
null,
Zip.
yes, it'll
Yes.
get you there. And it's the skill.
It is. It's a skill building thing. That's the kind of
is
class I love to teach. I love to teach that. The knit a project class is fun as a knit along, and I'm not dissing that because it certainly has its moments. But I love being able to give people skills that they use for the rest of their knitting life.
Right, and
That's
we
my
really
passion.
love that at DFWFiberfest. Our whole mission is to preserve, protect, promote, and perpetuate fiber crafting skills for the future so that things don't get lost. People talk to me all the time about, oh, that's almost a lost art. No, it wasn't. You just
Nobody
didn't know
does
where...
that anymore as you sit there with it in your hands.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Nobody does that anymore.
Nobody does that.
No.
Yeah, or you can buy that at Walmart. But really, what if you couldn't?
can't.
No, and having all of the skills, the foundational skills, mean you can figure something out later.
Yes. Or here's another reason why you need this is you're knitting a hat and the pattern is wrong.
Oh.
It happens.
It does.
The first time I found a real pattern, a printed pattern, it was in, I think, Vague Knitting.
It is vague though. They're almost all
yeah,
like vintage
especially back
patterns.
in the 80s. Woof. And I couldn't make it work. For love or money, I couldn't make it work. And I finally, in frustration, sat down with a piece of paper and a pencil and I wrote every row out. I did every stitch. I counted every single stitch. I counted, I don't know how many times. And I realized it was like a comic book where the little light bulb goes off over the guy's head. It was that moment.
Yes.
The pattern is wrong. The pattern is wrong. Holy smoke, the pattern is wrong. It's not me. It's not me. That's like one of my aha moments of my life. Yeah, formative. Yeah, the pattern is wrong. It actually might be the point at which patterns and our paths diverged because I lost confidence in them at that point. I mean, if Vogue knitting can be wrong, which we
Right.
no, it happens all the time. But I mean, come on, I was in my 20s. It was like,
errata wasn't
No.
published on every pattern on
No.
on a website and like it is now. You can go
No.
look, and every pattern writer has something with an errata on it.
Right.
But it wasn't like that.
But it wasn't,
before.
no, they would
Publish it later, maybe.
Maybe in a little tiny box in the back of the next magazine, if you happen to catch it, there might be a correction. Maybe. But really,
And you would have to
probably
know
not.
to look for it, or been the one who reported it in the first place.
Oh yeah, because I would have done that in my 20s. I wouldn't even talk to humans.
My, how things have changed.
Yeah, right. Well, you know.
It's good to grow.
It is. It's good to grow as a
Good to
person.
grow. Thank you so much for taking time to show us about this today. If you're looking for a class that will not break your brain but will blow your mind, this is the class to take at FiberFest. It'll be so much fun.
Have a great day.